Major price drops are happening and are going to continue happening. I'm going to show you right here on my MLS data, 1.1 million down to $950,000. We are seeing these big price drops all over the marketplace. We are also seeing the inventory growth. So I'm going to be sharing this with you guys. That way you're up to date with your housing market. That way you know what to follow. I'm also going to show you that the interest rates are actually doing a U-turn and heading back to 7%. Look, nobody shares this data with you. I have a personal Utah housing market update videos that I put out, but now I'm doing a nationwide one for you guys, for everybody. Now we're going to go through this really quickly. We see that the interest rates are doing a U-turn right here, and that is happening because the Fed is not going to do a Fed rate cut. This tool right here, the CME group, this is where Wall Street bet, or essentially they're saying, what are the chances that the Fed is going to cut the Fed rate here in July 30th, their next meeting? That is essentially 97% a no, only a 2.6% chance. Now, it's also impacting the chance, the possibility of a September rate cut. That's why you're seeing these interest rates doing a U-turn, and you're seeing the tariffs are showing up back in the data. So the tariffs are causing inflation to actually start picking back up, which is causing the 30-year mortgage to do a U-turn and heading back towards 7%. And the correlation is with this 10-year right here. Now, the 10-year is what correlates with interest rates, and the 10-year is essentially where interest rates going to be a year from today. Well, if the Fed rate cut is not happening in July, is most likely now not happening in September either, that's why you're seeing these interest rates going up. We're also seeing price cuts happening. Now, I'm going to share with you why this is happening and how it's going to continue most likely. Now, depends where you're at in America. If you're in the Midwest and Northeast, there's less new construction happening there, less people moving to that area. So those home prices did not explode like they did in the West and in the South, and there's not as much new construction going on. But this is a buyer. I have buyers that I'm helping in the Utah housing market, and I'm helping them navigate the different neighborhoods and different areas. Well, this is a buyer, and the reason I picked this is these two homes, if you take a look at them, they're identical to one another, and they're literally 1 minute apart. And this is showing what's happening in the marketplace, in my local Utah housing marketplace, as well as around the nation. Now, I do have a license in Utah and in Texas, so I do keep track of what's going on in multiple marketplaces, and I do keep track of what's going on nationwide as well. So now back to these houses, and also how Zillow manipulates what's going on. If you take a look, Zillow is saying $25,000 price cut. Zillow is saying a $15,000 price cut, when we know that is not true, because we see that that is a $150,000 price cut on this house that is 5,000 square feet. If we take a look here, we see 5,100 right here, and we see 5,300 right there, square feet. Big houses, big homes. Now, this buyer still isn't under contract, and we're going to get a much better deal because they've been following the data. They've been following what's happening, so they did not buy at the peaks like other buyers did. We're selling their house, we're going to get a good price on their sale, and they're going to get a much better deal on a house that they're buying. Now, right here, we see that this house is actually $150,000 down. Zillow says that it is $15,000. Also, Zillow is saying that it is valued at there's estimate $943,000. Well, this is BS because this one here is valued at $919,000 because their list price is $925,000. And the reason I picked these two houses is the one that's priced better actually came to the market after the one that's priced a little bit higher. So the new listing is always ahead of the old one. And I'm going to show you this right here. This is the active listings in my marketplace here in Utah. We're seeing much more inventory year over year. And this blue purple line right there, much more inventory year over year and than years past. And this is going to continue staying elevated. Well, if you take a look, this one right here that's priced better, they are 75 days on the market, and they came to the market at $999,000. This one over here came to the market 103 days ago at $1,100,000, and now they're at $950,000. And out of these two right here, my buyers actually at that time liked this one more, that was priced better from the get-go. And yet this estimate is saying, hey, they're both pretty much right around there. Click this little tour link over here, get an agent that just wants to sell you a house, doesn't have your best interest in mind, isn't going to share anything that's happening. Click that because we're going to sell this lead. We're in the business of making money. We're going to send it to a real estate agent, and I'm the only one giving data to my buyers. And people have been telling me, hey, you should make a national YouTube channel because nobody's giving this exact data like you are. And I've been doing it to my local housing market, and now you guys are getting the benefits of this as well. Now, the other thing is, look at this house. Same area, same part of our Greater Salt Lake area metro marketplace. And this one, you can take a look. It's a more modern finish. They have actually dropped it more than this 25,000 as well, because what Zillow does is they just show the most recent price drop. That way, it incentivizes the buyer to click this link. They can sell it, the lead to the realtor. They can make money, and this estimate, oh, lo and behold, $970,000, just slightly below this 974,000. How is every single Zestimate the value of the house just slightly below the list price? Because they have an incentive for you to click that link, sell the lead, get you into a house, make the realtors earn a paycheck so that they can keep making money. But the important thing about this one, if we look at my personal MLS data, and this is where Zillow gets their information. This is where all the websites get their information from our database, the MLS that we realtors have. And right here, if you take a look, you see $1.1 million, 152 days, $974,000. You're just seeing this happening across the board, across the nation. Articles are coming in. You're seeing things like, hey, it is not a great time. Only 14% of respondents since Fannie Mae began tracking data in 2010, only 14% say it's a good time to buy a home, and it's up to 86% saying it's a bad time, up from 83%. Now, this is the lowest on record since Fannie Mae began tracking data in 2010. This is just showing you that most buyers don't think that it's a good time to buy a house. Now, this inventory is growing nationwide, and it is growing here in my local housing market in Utah. It's also growing in Texas, the two markets that I do have a real estate license in. Now, if the U-turn is happening with mortgages heading back towards 7%, well, now we know that that relief in the form of rate cuts is not coming, at least not anytime soon, right? Or in the near future. Now, if it does come at the beginning of the year, school year has started. Now, even more buyers are out of the housing market, and under contracts in my local housing market have started declining month over month, which is the data that's been holding true. And it's going to continue declining per the data. Now, that's probably going to happen nationwide as well. And we see that the bet of a Fed rate cut here July 30th is essentially off the table. It's a 97.4% chance of a no, and only a 2.6% if you look at the bottom left of a yes. That is not going to happen. And we're seeing that tariffs are still influencing the 10-year treasury because tariffs are now showing up in the data and inflation. We're seeing that Zillow's Zestimate is a complete joke, and we are seeing in my MLS that we are having major price drops. And again, these are much bigger houses, and we're seeing it on the lower entry-level homes as well. It's happening across the board: houses, townhomes, condos, the 2,000 square foot house, the 1,500 square foot house, the 4,000 square foot house. Of course, the bigger ones are seeing a much bigger hit, less demand for those, especially now as the school year is about to start again. If you haven't yet, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. Nobody has your back like Dinko the Realtor, and that is my Utah housing market update that is now going to become a national trend. So you're going to be able to stay up to date on the national trend, and I'm going to keep sharing this information, what I'm seeing in my local housing market, what I'm seeing nationwide. That way, hey, you have the information that nobody else is showing you. That way you can make a decision that you feel comfortable with.